Hello, welcome to the topic molar mass. Chemistry is about little tiny particles, so we have to have a way of talking about the mass of those little tiny particles. So what we do is we use something called molar mass. It comes from the word mole, which is a weird word. It's not the little blind creature that crawls around under the ground, but it's the same word. It's like a dozen. A dozen is 12 of anything. Say you have a dozen donuts, a dozen school buses, a dozen whatever, it always means 12. That's how a mole is. A mole is 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. So that's 6.602 with a whole bunch of zeros. And that's because particles are so small. That's not really what's important. What's important that you're able to do is you're able to get the molar mass of either atoms or compounds. So we kind of have to review what the formulas tell us and what the periodic chart tells us. So for this activity, you need a calculator and you need a periodic chart. On the periodic chart, where all the elements are, there are two numbers. The first number is the atomic number. That tells us the number of protons and neutrons. The other number is the atomic mass. It's the mass of one of those atoms. So what we're going to do today is we're going to understand, hopefully, that 1 mole of an atom is equal to that atomic mass. And that part's pretty easy. The part that gets a little bit more difficult is when we have a compound and we have to add these up. So, excuse me. Let's say we have gold and we want to know the molar mass of gold. We get our periodic chart, we find gold, and the number says 196.97. This is called the molar mass. Now, mass is the unit of matter, and the unit that goes with that is a gram in the metric system. So we take what we get on the chart, and we put grams after it. Just that simple if it's an atom. If it's a compound, it's a little bit harder. We have to remember what the subscripts tell us. So that's obviously water. The subscripts go with the element that immediately precedes it. So this means that there are 2 hydrogens and just 1 oxygen. There's an understood 1 here, just like in math class. So what we do is just like we did for the gold, but we need 2 of the hydrogens. We get our periodic chart, we look up hydrogen. It has a mass of 1.01 grams. We need 2 of them. There are 2 hydrogen atoms. Then there is 1 oxygen atom. That's oxygen, not a 0. So once again, look at our chart, find the oxygen. It says 16 grams. Then we just add them all up. 2 times 1.01 is 2.02. Add that to 16. This is the molar mass of water. So what that means is, if you had 1 mole of water and you put it on your balance, an electronic balance, it would have a mass of 18.02 grams. You do this for all of them. It's just that sometimes they get a little tricky because of parentheses. So if you remember from math class, when you have parentheses around, let's say, a binomial, and you want to simplify this, you do that whole distributive property thing. So you take the 2 and you multiply it by the 3, and that's going to be 6x, but then you do it to the other thing that's in the parentheses too, and you get 2y. We do the same thing in chemistry. So if we have, this is like the hardest one. This is calcium phosphate. So that's calcium, and there's 3 of them. That subscript just goes with that calcium. But then we've got this whole parentheses thing going on. So this 2 has to be distributed through the parentheses. The 2 only goes with what's in the parentheses. So this means we're going to take 3 calciums, 2 times, there's an understood 1 here, just like in math class. When you have a coefficient out in front, it's understood to be 1 if there's not a number written there. So that means we have 2 times 1, or 2 phosphorus, and then 4 times 2. Some people get confused, it's times. 4 times 2 is 8 oxygen. And then we just figure out what each one is. So we're going to have 3 times calcium is 40.08. I'm just getting these off the chart. 2 phosphorus, each phosphorus is 30.97 grams. And then 8 oxygen, just like it was before, it's 16 grams. And I need a calculator for this one. You add them all up. So 3 times 40.08 plus 2 times 30.97 plus 8 times 16 is 310.18.
0.18.
And that's grams, and that's your answer. And that's what you're gonna do today. So this is called molar mass. Have a good day.